Okay guys, welcome to our muscle lecture 2. So this lecture is on the microscopic structure of a muscle fiber, and this is a really short lecture. So first we're going to look at the muscle fiber in general. So our muscle fiber is going to be our muscle cell, all right? It's just called a muscle fiber, and there's some facts about it. And now remember, we're talking about skeletal muscle here, okay? And there's some facts about it you need to remember. It's multinucleated. The sarcoplasmic reticulum is the endoplasmic reticulum. The sarcolemma is the cell membrane. The sarcoplasm is called the cytoplasm. All right, and in a muscle fiber, the sarcoplasm is going to be filled with myofibrils. See how in this picture, all of these guys, all these long thin things, there's like no room for much of anything else other than myofibrils, and that makes up a majority of the muscle cell. All right, so it's going to be filled with myofibrils. Myofibrils are long ribbon-like organelles that are made up of myofilaments, and it gives your muscle the striped, how we say muscle striated, that's these stripes right here. See them? So those stripes are going to be because of the dark and light bands in the myofibrils. So next, if we look a little closer at our myofibril banding pattern, we can see that the I bands, all right, so this one right here goes from here up to here up, okay? That's an I band, and that I band is going to only contain the thin microfilament and that the Z disc comes into the middle of it, okay? So the I band is going to be your light band, and how you remember it is I, and then light has an I in it, okay? And another way to remember, so I and the light has an I in it, and it's made up of actin, which also has an I. So actin has an I, and thin, actin is thin. Okay, so actin has an I band has an I, light has an I, and thin has an I. So that I band right there is made up of actin. That's all it's going to contain. That's the thin filament. And in the middle of the I band is the Z disc. All right. And then the dark band, so we're talking about that dark light pattern that makes the stripes. The dark band, right, has the A for dark and the A for is the A band. Okay. And your dark band is going to be this to this. So that's going to be this one. Right, so my A band I really should have pushed over a little bit. Let me push my I band over a little bit so you can see it better. Say my I band goes there and then my A band starts next. All right, so my A band is going to be made up of myosin, and myosin's thick. Okay, and myosin is going to be the thicker filament. So it's going to contain the thick filament. So if you see here, the thick one is the filament in red, right? So myosin is going to be the red one, and actin is our blue one. So our A band is myosin. It contains the thick filament. The H zone is the central area that's a little bit lighter, and the M line is going to be the center of the H zone. Then we look at our sarcomere. So we're going to get closer. So we started with our cell, right? Then we pulled out, remember we said straws and tubes, right? We pulled out our myofibril. And then we can look at a section of our myofibril. So the section of the myofibril are called sarcomeres, and sarcomeres are actually the contractile unit, meaning they're the area that's going to shorten when your muscle contracts. The myofilaments that made up of it are made up of protein. And we just mentioned these in the last slide. This is the actin, which is the thin myofilament, and the myosin, which is the thick one. So if I put this here, I have this one, which is actin, and then this red one, which is myosin. Okay, and both of those make up your sarcomere. It's going to have alternating light bands and dark bands, right? I bands, which are light and made of actin, and A bands, which are dark, are made of myosin. We just did that on the last slide. So if we look at our sarcomere even closer, we can see that our sarcomere actually runs from, excuse my cats, but from Z disc, so from this to this. That's our sarcomere right there. Okay, that's our sarcomere, and it's kind of down the bottom, it's bigger. And the sarcomere is composed of the actin and myosin, right? Our contractile protein actin, and then our actin is anchored at the Z disc. So this is actin. It anchors right on this line, that Z disc right there. And here's the other actin, right there, Z disc to the line. And then the middle, the red, is going to be our myosin. All right, see this space right here? There's this zone right here where we don't have any actin when our muscle isn't contracted. When our muscle contracts, that actually closes up, and we'll talk about that in the next lecture. So this was a super short lecture. Write down any questions that you have, and we'll talk about this on Monday.